All right, back. Southeastern 16 here again. Yes, another night of SEC basketball action. As only two games to discuss to this point. As we said, we're not going to do a stream for Oklahoma and Texas tonight. That game is not even tipping off for another 8 minutes. I mean, they're going to be playing until tomorrow morning in Norman, Oklahoma. But we are going to talk a little bit about. I mean, these two games have not been the prettiest games, I would say. Tonight's Vanderbilt gets the win over South Carolina, 66-63. Gary brought up something in the comments that we're definitely going to talk about with the Gamecocks. This Tennessee Georgia game has not been the prettiest as well. For Georgia, that is, because Tennessee really turned it on. Zakai Ziegler, Jordan Gainey, some incredible sort of heat checks for those two guys in this game. But we also know some of you are here. You want to start looking ahead to the weekend. You want to start talking about some big games we got going on Saturday. So we'll do that a little bit too. This probably won't be a lengthy stream, just to kind of give you guys a heads up, because you're going to get us tomorrow morning for bracketology on Thursdays, as we always do. And then you get the weekend predictions, Max. I hope we're ready for those. So,
yeah, it's gonna be a fun weekend. I'm not gonna lie, I'm the guy here for bully ball for this brand of basketball. But I am not going to lie. These were there. Okay. 66-63 for Vanderbilt. I thought that was not a pretty win. I thought at times even they didn't deserve to win, but they needed to win. Keeps their tournament hopes alive. Believe their chances floating right around 40% right now. They are a firm bubble team. When you're talking about the bubble, you had Lenardi on the broadcast. When you're talking about the bubble, Vanderbilt is in that conversation for right now, and they keep themselves in there with this win. As for Tennessee, Georgia, what was it, 26-4? About 7 minutes into the second half, the halftime, the second half. I mean, they just Rick Barnes adjustments, man.
Yeah, it is. They and look, I mean, like I said, Ziegler and Gainey. I mean, Ziegler just came down and he was just bang, bang, bang. Like he just took off, hit those, what was it, 3 threes in a row during that stretch.
3 in a row.
He was tremendous. And then Gainey started sort of doing his thing. So, I mean, that's the thing with Tennessee. Like, yes, you're still going to see some of that streakiness at times, but yeah, I mean, look, as Parker brings up here, 34 run for Tennessee. And that's the Tennessee side of things. But for the Georgia side of things, I think I said in our prediction video, Max, I said I think this could be like a 60-48 type game, because how many times have we seen a team go into Knoxville and just not be able to find any sort of rhythm offensively? Georgia could not do that after that initial sort of burst, and that was the story of the game. Like, I mean, Georgia became team 188 or whatever in the Rick Barnes era to go into Knoxville and just Tennessee to do their thing defensively and just lock them down. And you know, that was my concern too. I think I said in the preview is for a team like Georgia, they have to have a certain formula to win. And we kind of saw what that formula was last week, right? They have to be able to get to the free throw line. They just don't shoot it well enough, in my opinion, to be able to, you know, sort of counter some of that. And it's also a team, what, Max? I mean, we called it, like, they turned the ball over. And how many turnovers they finished with tonight?
19.
I mean, 19? Yeah. So just not a good recipe to win at Tennessee. And, yeah, there you have it. So,
I mean, what did I say this morning? And I think it was Jimmy Dykes that was saying it, that I was just kind of repeating him. You can't have a bad 10 minutes in this league. You're going to lose the game. Georgia was winning at halftime. I mean, it was only by 1 point, but they go into halftime with a lead on the road at Tennessee. Years past Georgia, that doesn't happen. And still, you come out, you have a bad 7 minutes. It wasn't even 10. It wasn't even 10 because they battled back. They battled back. You have a bad 10 minutes. And the next thing you know, they've just gone on a 30-4 run. And you're like, this game's gone. We got to just battle here. You can't have it. You cannot slip up at all, especially on the road. But Blake, we knew coming into this that Georgia's offense was not their strength. It was their defense, their physicality. But when you look at it now, We're a few games into the conference season now, and that's 11% to open against Ole Miss, 29 against Kentucky, 17 against Oklahoma, and now 28 tonight. They haven't shot over 30% in conference play yet. Gonna have to get some shots falling to just have that offense catch up to the defense a little bit. It's got to happen.
Yeah. Well, just to kind of quickly, you guys hopping in. Zach, quickly, the super chat streak continues, just for anyone who was curious. $10 super chat, Zach weighing in. So the streak continues for Zach. Mother Carol also gifting out a membership. Yep. So someone got lucky here with a membership tonight. Blake's putting out the challenge right now. Current super chat record, $200 last night. Anyone breaking it tonight? I hope it's not Blake. Blake, please don't try to break it tonight. We appreciate all your contributions last night, but come on now. We don't want to do that to you back-to-back nights. But Sterling Pressure Washing says, how much money to talk Kentucky only, the rest of the cast? Well, throw a number out there, and we'll see if it meets that number. How about this? Just keep adding money, and then we'll tell you when to stop. That's the rule.
We are going to preview Saturday. We'll talk.
We will preview Saturday tonight. We'll start to give you our early thoughts. Again, predictions coming tomorrow on the channel as always. We'll have single game predictions coming up tomorrow. Kentucky, Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. And then we'll have predictions for all the other games too, but we'll put all those probably in one video. So those are kind of the key games we have our eye on for the weekend so far.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Let me
Chris,
make sure.
We just were kind of giving some quick thoughts on on the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Tennessee's offense was so good in the second half. I guess it knocked out my internet connection. We'll blame that. No, I mean, look, entered into the evidence of who the Vols can be last week was the Florida game. This week, that little spurt they had not long into the second half, where Ziegler's hitting threes and feeding Phillips and all and they're just getting points left and right. That's also part of what they are. Now, I want everybody don't get too overreactive to the Florida game. It was hideous, I get it, but they played fairly well since then. That also could happen. Oreo tried to eat a few things today.
Is there any truth to that? Oreo ate your router. Could that be possible?
No, but he is. We've got a mole in our backyard. He spent the day digging through the dirt trying to eat that thing. So,
guys, here's an interesting comment, real quick. Thought Georgia was good. What happened? Do you think? Because I brought this up. I brought this up because I want to. After every game, we kind of say like, all right, this was the result, and I'm not worried at all about it moving forward. I still liked what I saw about it. Whatever. Moving away from this game, concerns or lack thereof concerns for Georgia, Tennessee moving forward. Anything that pops out?
I've said it. Go ahead, Blake. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I just don't see Georgia as a team on the road this season that's going to win a lot of games. I just don't think they're good enough offensively. And if they hit the wrong matchup like this, look, right? In their first four SEC games, first four SEC games. So what was the final tonight?
74-56.
Okay. So their two road games, 63-51 loss, 74-56 loss, against two of the best defensive teams. Let's not kid ourselves either, in Tennessee and Ole Miss. They score 82 and 72 against Kentucky and Oklahoma. We said one of the common denominators there, two things. They played at home, and they shot a lot of free throws. And so I just think when you get on the road, again, you understand that it's a challenge. And if you look at the rest of their road games this year, at Arkansas, at Florida, at Alabama, at Texas A&M, at Auburn, at Texas, at South Carolina, right? So I think that's the thing for me is like, if you're Georgia, you don't have to win all your road games. But Max, I just think offensively, I see still some limitations, especially the turnover number, which by the way, after this game, they've now moved to 306 nationally in turnover percentage. Pretty much 20% is almost, it's 19.7. So 20% is the number now. Again, they played good defensive teams, but that's the common theme with their three losses, right? Think about that: Marquette, Ole Miss, Tennessee. But I don't know. I want to see that next level offensively, and I don't know if it's there yet.
Yeah, one quick note on Tennessee that's pretty interesting is they're doing this. I mean, I know they had the horrible game against Florida, but past two games, more specifically, when at Texas, when home against Georgia by 18, Chaz Lanier has been having some of his least efficient games of the season so far. 1 of 9 from 3 tonight, 1 of 7 from inside the arc. Last game against Texas, 1 of 5 inside the arc, 2 of 6 outside. Good defenses still, but I mean, hey, we're in league play now. 90% of the time, you're playing a good defense here. So will be interesting to see if that trend continues or if he gets back on track.
Well, I know some of the Tennessee fans are talking about Chaz Lanier, and yeah, I mean, I think that's certainly something that, I mean, it's kind of hard to say, right? Because you just kind of look at the numbers, and he's not played his best these past several games. I mean, 5 points tonight? I mean, the guy is. Let me see.
You got to judge him on the season, though. He's been phenomenal.
No, exactly.
In a few game stretch.
He's 4 of 24 from 3 in the last 3 games. If you look at the numbers before that, right? The games before that, which again you counter or you add in a Norfolk State, a Middle Tennessee, not knocking those teams, but 5 of 9, 6 of 16, 5 of 10, those kind of numbers. And so you get into SEC play, teams are going to guard you differently because everybody knows like he is kind of the guy that has that next level offensively that no one else has. And so like you're going to get teams that are going to come out and completely try to take everything away from him. And that's why tonight, like I thought it was so important that you had Ziegler go on the run he did. Gainey goes on the run he did. That's still going to be important. Like it's not just going to be put everything on Lanier and let's see what happens, right? But So, by the way, don't worry, Max. We have a special guest getting ready to come on here in just a minute.
We do?
Wow. We have an announcement of a special guest, but don't worry. Kentucky fans, this one will be for you. And so we'll get to that in just a second. But so I think that's it. Okay, when it comes to Chaz Lanier, I think he's gonna be fine. I just think you got to understand, like teams are game planning differently now for them, and they just got to find ways to get, good shots and that kind of stuff. So,
my apologies for my connection. So I hope I'm not overlapping with what you guys just covered, but I think Max, before everything went bad on my end, you said something about Georgia. Any concerns? I've got one little thing, and I don't know if you guys hit on it again while I was gone, but you remember when all the offseason buzz was Silas Demery, and he's going to take a step up and be the next big guy. And I get that they got a lot of mouths to feed in that backcourt, and they've been fine without him. But it has not been the take a game over kind of production from him night in and night out. We're sitting here, 17 games in the season or whatever it is. His season high is 18 points. That was all the way back in mid-November. And again, they've got a lot more good guards around him than they did last year. And they've also got an Ace Newell, which most teams don't have. But I think that's the one thing that they're kind of lacking is like if they're getting in one of these 80-point shootouts where you need somebody to get you a bucket and you need it to be a guy with the ball in his hands. I don't think that they have that guy on par with the top teams in the league. Minor quibble, but I do think that's something that's holding them back a bit.
No, you're right, Chris. You're right. And we were talking about the Demery breakout. He was primed for one. But when you look at the numbers, he's still got a negative assist to turnover ratio. It's almost gotten worse. And so when, he's going to draw your fouls, he'll get to the free throw line. He'll play really good defense, grab a few steals. Still negative assist to turnover ratio. Same thing that was holding him back last year. So it's got to get cleaner.
All right. Well, for Tennessee, again, I think Josh said it in the comments, if I can get back to the tab here. That's the thing. If you're a Tennessee fan, you're probably like, we didn't even play our best game, and yet we still found a way to win that game going away, right? And so Tennessee goes to Vanderbilt on Saturday, and then we talked about that stretch for the Vols. Then business picks up. Host Mississippi State at Auburn, host Kentucky, host Florida. So, and then host Missouri after that. So it's quite a stretch for the Vols coming up with that. And so, okay, hold on. Everybody's getting excited about the special guest. Not to say the special guest isn't fantastic, but I don't want you to think Mark Pope's coming in here, Chad Baker-Mazzara, okay? We're working on those, but that's not tonight's guest, okay? We're going to get to him here shortly. Before we do, I want to just quickly clean up a couple things because we're always going to get behind here. All right. Quickly, Gary asked earlier, did South Carolina set the SEC turnover record for a game? What did they finish with?
25.
25. Is that a record?
It was, they said on the broadcast that the most in an SEC game last year was 22, and that was Alabama.
Okay.
I think they said South Carolina's high for the season was 15. I wouldn't write that in blood, but if I heard it correctly, that's what they said on the broadcast.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Shout out to Elton, who has been here since the beginning. Look how much the channel has grown. I remember, like, back in the day, this was, 4 years ago almost now? Yeah. Wild, isn't it? Here we are. So we appreciate you hanging around for the long term here. I know some other people out there, too, that have been around long term. Got a lot of new viewers, listeners, and so forth. But we appreciate the originals here who've been here from the start. So, we talk about Tennessee kind of being streaky in this game. Tennessee up 6 here. Took a call, put clothes in the dryer, and all of a sudden they're up 21. So that's what Holly has to say about this. Yeah, that is kind of how it went. Austin says he will give us a blank check to become a Kentucky-only channel. So, all right. I see him down here in the green room. I see him putting the Kentucky shirt up, so we're going to put him up here in a second. Mitch, talking about the Kentucky Wildcats, a.k.a. the 5th-rated team in the prestigious Southeastern 16 power rankings. Again, Mitch, you know who to point the finger at. I've already sent my power rankings in for next week. I've already sent them in. I already have. I've already sent them in, so don't blame me. Okay, quickly, Devin, $10 super chat. Missed the super chat day yesterday. Yeah, I guess that's what it'll be called. Making up for it now since today was payday. There you go. Thanks for the content. Still haven't forgotten about the UK defense. Well, sometimes you got to remind Chris Lee. You got to remind him sometimes. Danny's gifted a Southeastern 16 membership, so we appreciate that. Okay, so, folks, it's time to introduce you to the intern. Are you ready for this? The intern has arrived. Southeastern 16, this is how you know we're moving on up, okay? We've brought in the intern. And it just so happens that he is a student at a certain school in the SEC. He's here.
How's it going, guys?
Hey,
it's Matthew. Look what he's wearing right now. Look at this guy. He said, I'm not just coming in to be the intern, all right? I'm coming in right away and letting you know that he's here for the Cats. Zach's already booing him. Matthew's going to get used to this.
Yep.
But
Is that a Mets hat?
Probably. That is a Mets hat.
Oh,
yeah, he's a Mets fan,
you
too.
Started off on the wrong foot, my man.
Don't let him get in your head, Matthew.
There's going to be a lot
Don't
of
let him
people
get in your
that
head.
think that's the worst combination of two teams.
Right about
no,
one.
by the way, the super chat money did not buy the intern. Just so we're clear. This has been in the works for a little bit, quite a while
Hey, I
actually.
need some help paying for tuition, so anything
He does.
helps.
He does. So, listen, Matt, we have had this in the works for like over a month now, I'm pretty sure. Maybe at least a month. So this was kind of something we had. Tennessee fans are getting after you, Matthew. It's all right. Here we go. So,
it's not a commitment ceremony, folks.
Hey, we're going to have fun. Matthew, fantastic. He's going to be doing a lot of fun stuff for us. So we wanted you guys to quickly meet Matthew. You'll get to see him pop on here sometimes. I'm sure if the Cats do well, we'll have him on maybe for a few minutes to kind of have fun with some things. But Matthew, you're the man. And hey, we're glad you're joining us here as the intern.
Well, thank you guys for
Wildcat
giving
Matt.
me the opportunity, and look forward to getting to move the Cats up a couple spot in the power rankings every week.
Hey,
Well, hey,
quick learner.
that's
Quick learner.
he already knows. So you're going to
Yep.
be a big winner in the chat because the usual people who are not fans of what these two guys over here are doing with the power rankings. You know where you and I are at on this thing, Matthew. But let's not listen to
Absolutely.
these other two guys. We might actually start having you do the power rankings. Maybe
Hey,
that
that's
is
fine
what
with me.
we will do. So, all right. Well, do you know Kirk Risa? That's what Mother
I
Carol
don't,
wants to
not
know.
yet. Haven't seen
Okay.
him around campus yet.
Well,
We'll-
listen.
We'll follow up
Matthews-
with that, Mother Carol.
He's at the games. He's always sending photos. He's gonna have a lot of fun with this. So, all right.
Can't
We
wait.
just wanted to do a quick introduction. You'll see more of this man coming soon, unless Chris decides to fire him already due to the Mets hat. But we don't think that's going to happen. So,
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks.
all right, Matthew. See you, man. All right. There you go. Matthew, the intern,
Team's
Southeastern
growing.
16.
Team's
Moving on up.
growing.
So, no, again, we had that in the works for a while, and we decided to wait until after the holidays and everything to get this started. So, Matthew reached out. Yeah, just a really good dude, and he's going to help us with some stuff here on the channel. So, there you have it. All right. What else we want to get to? Probably some chats, Max, or what do you want to pull up here?
We haven't talked much about Vandy's big win. And I thought Chris would have some good stuff.
Yeah, not not a museum piece of a basketball game tonight. Officiating is going to be the talk, and I don't think that's undeserved in some ways. I guess the story, Devin McLaughlin made probably the biggest two plays of Vanderbilt's season with that block at the end and then the putback. Yeah, I mean, not a pretty 25 turnovers. That's, man, I'm just going back and wondering, like, how was Carolina even in the game with that many turnovers? And Pringle got in foul trouble, 12 minutes
Real
into the
early.
game? Just Morgus Ugasuk, I guess, is probably your bright spot if you're Carolina. Took advantage of some injuries to get some more playing time, was hitting some big shots late. So if you're South Carolina, that's one thing where injury opens the door to opportunity. So there was that. The problem is I just think there's so many tough games on that schedule for them and already a bit of a hole in the net. But they're going to be tough. I mean, like, Carolina gets blown out its first two games and now gives Auburn and Vandy games in just what was a coin flip in the last 30 seconds each time.
Well, I want to remind you again, the reason why we have this kind of labeled as Vandy's important win, remember, we've talked for weeks about why this was such an important game for Vanderbilt, because we're like, they got to at least be 2-2 coming out of this
Have to,
first four
yeah.
games, because I'm going to repeat it again if you don't remember. Home against Tennessee on Saturday, at Alabama, home against Kentucky, at Oklahoma, at Florida, home against Texas, home against Auburn, at Tennessee, at Kentucky, home against Ole Miss, at Texas A&M, and then they're home against Missouri after that. And like, if you want to call the end of their schedule easy, home against Arkansas and at Georgia. Like, they do not have any room for error, like, really the rest of the way. And so they had to have this one tonight. And again, like, now it sets up that game against Tennessee on Saturday. And I mean, at least you got a little bit of confidence now where it's a home game, although let's call it what it is. There's going to be a lot of Tennessee fans in that building. But yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see them match up with a team like Tennessee, because we know what they can do defensively. Mark Byington offensively, kind of the things he likes to run. They do a good job taking care of the ball. So that's going to be a big storyline in that game on Saturday. But
Got two things on Vandy real quick. Blake, to kind of put a number on you running through the schedule, they're going to be an underdog in 10 of their next 11 games.
yeah,
Just heading into it. And
They
it's
really needed to be 3-1 after this one. Now you
Yeah.
can make it up by getting one against Tennessee on Saturday, but I don't think the way they played tonight gave me a lot more confidence that they're going to get that one.
Yeah, so at least until like March, pretty much the rest of January and February, they're going to be an underdog. And if they do get a win, it's going to be stealing one. The other thing, Chris, you always say when we talk about Arkansas, where would this team be without a Deuce D-Row? Where would Vandy be without Devin McLaughlin?
Oh, it would be ugly. I mean, that kid is doing a job. He's a 6'7" post on a team that really doesn't have any. I mean, Kajani Wright was supposed to be a big player for them.
Forget about that.
Yeah, I mean, McDonald's All-American. I don't think – I think that was a miss by the evaluators, but it points to some talent. I don't think he's going to play a minute this year. Who knows about next year? It was an off-court health situation. But, yeah, I mean, McLaughlin is just – he has been – if we made it like a five-man all underrated, underappreciated, whatever team, I think he would be on there. Might be the captain of it. There's a lot of good, underappreciated players in this league with all the star power. But, yeah, I mean, they don't win the game without him tonight. There's probably a couple others that would be the case too.
Yep, I agree. I mean, I kept saying, I put out those, what is it, college basketball reference ratings, and like has been in the top 2 pretty much for the last month and a half in terms of offensive rating and those kind of things McLaughlin has. So, yeah, having him and Edwards and Tyler Tanner doing his thing, I mean, that's where, again, I look ahead now for Vanderbilt. Like, I know we're talking about the game from tonight, but, forcing that many turnovers, you're not going to do that to everybody, but that's been the key for them, right? Force turnovers, take care of the ball, give yourself a chance, knowing you do have size disadvantage. Like, you have those kind of things that aren't working in your favor. And so they're making it work right now. It's just now we really try to see, like, who are the teams they can upset matchup-wise.
Yep.
I don't know right now because they're just, like you mentioned, Max, they're going to be the underdog in 10 of their next 11, probably.
The updated Ken
in all
Palm
11 of those
has got them 6-12 in the league, and they've already got 2 wins.
Yeah.
So I think,
they've
actually not impressed the algorithm there with the way they're winning games. But I mean that could change in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Do we want to look ahead?
Score update for some people, as Zach noted. Texas looking good right now. Yeah, I'm glad I picked them in this game. Don't let the record indicate
you
that
didn't.
Yeah, no, I think I did from what I recall.
Did you really?
No.
Oh yeah, I think
Chris,
I did.
You and I picked Texas, and he picked Oklahoma. Don't let him get
Is
in
that
your
true?
head.
So we
Let's
get
bring
even
Matthew
with him
back.
if Texas wins this game. Is that how this stands, Max?
Let's bring Matthew back. Can we do that?
I'm pretty sure we're all even if Texas wins.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I've seen 10-point leads in the first half before. So let's not crown the Longhorns.
Max, we shouldn't have brought that up because the gloating tomorrow, if Oklahoma wins, is going to be unbearable.
You know, I gave you a Winston Churchill quote about those who, don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And I told you that Texas had won 7 straight in this series, and yet I still picked Oklahoma. So I apologize to Winston Churchill because I did not learn from history, at least in the first 9 minutes and 41 seconds of this basketball game. So, all right. Let's look ahead to the weekend. All right. I'm going to put a poll.
Ooh.
I'm going to put a poll in the chat. So I'm going to let you guys talk for a second, give your initial thoughts. But I got a poll coming for the chat, folks, right here. So,
well, I got a chat ready to start conversation here from Mother Carol. It might mess up your poll though. I don't know what your poll's got.
No, it's fine. Go for it.
Mother Carol says that she's worried about Alabama coming in off a home loss, catching the Tide, maybe not in the most favorable spot for the Cats. And there was I lost a bunch of the chats, but there was a lot of agreement that kind of I think it was Skylar here says that they haven't had an early game in a minute. Early game kind of mixed with catching Alabama, who's going to be real focused, real mad at the last game. What do you think, Chris? Are you feeling early thoughts on Alabama Kentucky. I know we haven't really looked into it yet, but what are you thinking?
Taking away nothing from Ole Miss, because losing the other night to Ole Miss had a lot to do with Ole Miss. But I don't think Alabama commonly plays well below its standard 2 nights in a row very often. Now, this team, we've docked Kentucky a little bit here and there for being inconsistent, even in some wins. The same may be said of Alabama. Remember the North Dakota game, where that was pretty underwhelming. The game the other night. So that's both teams have left some things to be desired some nights. But man, I'll tell you this: forget who wins. I'm looking at the stuff in the chat. 115 to 112 Alabama, and some of these things. I mean, that is going to be a fun game to watch, no matter who wins.
So guys
I
can't.
Hope it is.
You can't see it because you're not on the YouTube channel feed. You can only see our software we're recording with here. But I did put a poll up, and it doesn't come through on this. But I did put a poll up, and so far we have 43 votes. Do Kentucky and Alabama each score 100-plus points on Saturday? The votes are coming in. All right? No, 64%. Yes, 36%. So that's where we're at right now on the poll.
What would your vote be?
Oh, I'm absolutely voting for it to try to put it into the world that these two score at least 100. Absolutely. Yep. So,
and does everybody know that they can watch this insanity with us?
Oh, is that right? Can you watch this game with the guys at Southeastern 16? Is that true, Max Barr? Because
they've never done it before.
Well, they've never done it before, but if it is true, there's an interesting way to do that, because this really long, obnoxious link that I just put in the chat, that is how you join the It Just Means More tier for the special Kentucky-Alabama watch-along. On Saturday, our first watch-along of the season, we decided to do an early game because the way the schedule falls, it works out better for us. And then we'll be rotating different teams and all that for watch-alongs. But look, this is the one that's going to have a total of 285 points or something. So if you join the It Just Means More tier, you can watch the game with us. Remember, this is not a simulcast. We will not be having the game on the screen, but we'll be talking about it while it's going on. And then we'll come back and talk about it with everybody else afterwards. So, but the It Just Means More members get a special attraction, the watch along. There you go.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Krusty wants to do the play-by-play. I'm going to put a poll out on that. If anyone wants to, do you want to see Krusty do the play-by-play on Saturday's game? Let us know. So, yeah, Josh, watch it be 60-50. Oh, my. Don't put that out there. What if it does wind up being something
Josh,
like that?
Don't do that.
What if both teams got like 4 of 34 from 3? And we're just sitting over here reliving the glory days.
I'll have a big smile on my face.
That's true.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll see. All right. The poll is getting closer to 50-50, by the way.
Yes. See, give the people what they want. Points. Points.
Here's the schedule on Saturday, just for everyone that is aware. Yes, we do have another early tip here. Kentucky and Alabama, 11 a.m. Central. Not the 10 a.m. Central we had with Kentucky and Florida a couple weeks ago. 12 p.m. Central, you're going to have Auburn traveling to Georgia. 2:30 Central, Tennessee travels to Vanderbilt, and their fans will travel. Texas and at Florida, 3 p.m. Central. South Carolina, Oklahoma, 3 p.m. Central. That one's in Norman. Ole Miss at Mississippi State at the Hump, 5 p.m. Central Time. Arkansas at Missouri, 5 p.m. Central Time. And then LSU at A&M is the nightcap. And I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know in advance, based on the way these games fall on Saturday, we will probably start our primetime reaction show earlier than usual, because with all due respect to the Texas A&M and LSU game, that's not probably one of the headliners of the weekend. And so we'll probably be talking as that one's going on. So we'll probably start a little earlier, maybe to 7:30ish. Probably 7 is more like it. 7 Central primetime reaction on Saturday. So a little bit earlier than we usually do.
I have a thought, and Blake Lovell is going to kill me for articulating it, but
Well,
I'm
that
going
would
to
be
do it
illegal,
anyway.
So I'm not going to do that.
What is the over-under on game time for Kentucky and Alabama?
It's not going to be 2 hours and 48 minutes. I can tell you that.
Are you sure?
Yes. I mean, every game's going almost 2.5 hours now, no matter who it is. So there's going to be 8 reviews at some point. I don't know. I'd set it at 2:15 is what I would set it at.
I have a common sense rules suggestion here. You tell me what you think.
Mm-hmm.
I think you go to the monitor when there's a review. You start a 60-second clock. At the end of 60 seconds, if you don't have a really good idea that whatever needs to be overturned, just come back, say it's inconclusive. We're sticking with the call on the floor. Just honesty. Now, I'm not saying you have to do that always. Maybe there's a key call and you do need to look a little bit more. But to me, if you can't overturn a call in 60 seconds, and the rule isn't it's supposed to be clear or whatever, I don't know what the language is, but you know what I mean. I feel like that would help us out a little bit.
It's like the NFL before they went to the expedited review. That's what we need. Can we get a little expedited review? Call into New York. Where's Dean Blandino? Sorry.
Or hey, here's a good point. I'm cutting out commercial time. It is alleged. But here, okay, if you have it during the commercial break, then you get a little bit longer. Take a break, do it then. And then that's fine. Then nobody really loses in that spot. But
Well, that's also true, what Skylar says here. You just get it right to begin with. That's easy.
it
way,
is
right?
it is not a good year for officiating.
It hasn't been.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, here everything I hear you talking about right now screams inefficiency.
Oh no, we can't have that.
Can't have what?
Inefficiency.
You're right. You can have inefficiency. And you know what I think of when I'm like, hey, I want the complete opposite of inefficiency.
If only we had something or somebody that could solve this inefficiency problem. Max Barr,
I think.
do you have any
mean,
ideas?
I think Matt's got some ideas.
I
People
think
are
of two
catching
words
on, Blake.
when I think of the opposite of inefficiency. Actually, I think of two sets of 2 words. I think of Ted Sanders, and I think of Sanders Logistics. Because
Boom.
never have I known 2 more efficient people than Ted Sanders and Sanders Logistics. Never. Not even Chris Lee and Max Barr, especially Chris Lee's internet. I've never known more efficient.
Sanders Logistics, come solve my internet problem, please.
Ever. If you want Sanders Logistics to take you anywhere you want to go, even possibly the Alabama-Kentucky game, they'll do it. Because as we know, Sanders Logistics, formerly Ted R. Sanders Moving, is a leader among moving companies in Nashville, Tennessee, and the surrounding area. Their team of professional movers, here it comes, are focused on delivering efficient. You don't hear any inefficient stuff in there. You hear efficient, hassle-free moving at an affordable price. Whether you're moving across town, whether you're going to Lexington to watch the Cats and the Tide on Saturday, you could honestly maybe just move for that game. And if you're like, hey, Ted R. Sanders, I'd like to move to Lexington for Saturday just from the times of 11 a.m. Central to like 2 p.m. Central, and then I'd like you to move me back. You know what they'll do? They'll move your ass back to wherever you came from because they are Ted R. Sanders Logistics. They've got you covered. Visit them at tedrsandersmoving.com.
Nice.
Oh, move you to
wrong
Panama.
one.
Nope.
Didn't mean
Nope.
to,
Nope.
didn't mean to.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to do that.
All right. What else we got?
Okay.
We're going to wrap up here soon. doing a short
Two things real
short stream
quick.
tonight.
I got all excited that Zurich Phelps was placed into the top 5 of Ken Palm's SEC first team. He's been replaced
Oh no.
by Zakai Ziegler.
I was going to say that was going to be my
back in
guess.
the top
was Ziegler.
5.
Yeah, could you imagine not putting him on your preseason first team? Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine?
Who would do something
Can
that
you
dumb?
imagine
do that?
being 2 of the 3 people on this panel who decided Zakai Ziegler was not a preseason first team All SEC type guy? Can you imagine being 2 of those people? I sure
Only
couldn't.
fit
I
5.
could not even imagine it. I'll tell you who else
Only
couldn't
fit
imagine. I
5.
guarantee you, Sanders Logistics would put up with none of that nonsense because they understand what it means to be what they are. So just, let's tell you. But speaking of that, real quickly, I'm going to circle back around. We had a couple comments here. By the way, did we acknowledge that Matt has become now a member?
What?
It just means more cheers.
Hey!
16. Have we acknowledged that?
No.
Matt.
All right.
Wait
So
a
there you
minute.
have it.
Matt.
Look at that. We're getting a chance started. By the way, Mother Carol said she's worried about the Tide coming off a home loss. Well, it's kind of a, I like to look back at it, but I think Nate Oates has done a pretty good job when his teams have come off losses. We'll talk about that in the preview tomorrow, though. Let's see.
Hey.
Cassie, what do you got?
Well,
ahead.
Blake just gifted out 5 memberships.
Thank you.
Look at
Blake.
that.
And we got Elton got one. We got Donovan got
Hey.
one.
Oh,
Donovan.
oh no. Oh,
I
no.
didn't even
Eli
know
got
it was
one?
Here.
Oh, boy.
What? Oh my
Okay.
Oh
goodness.
my gosh.
The crew
What are
is
the
coming in.
chances?
So, can you imagine Donovan during a
Holy
Kentucky-Alabama
smokes.
watch along? Oh, get ready, Kentucky fans and Alabama fans. The Donovan experience.
Let's go,
so
Blake.
We appreciate Blake. Don't worry, working on Blake's guest spot. We're gonna have him on soon. So after the super chat legend that is Blake.
I got a
Appreciate you,
question.
Blake. You're
here.
welcome, Donovan. Oh, he wasn't talking to me, was he?
Donovan's
all right.
avatar. I mean, it's that big on my screen. I see a dude and a cat.
Isn't that Tom Crean?
It looks like Tom Crean, but like, what is?
That is
think it's
Tom Crean.
Tom
It's always
Crean.
been
That's
yeah.
Tom Crean.
It's Tom
Yeah.
Crean and a cat.
Well, I mean,
yeah. I don't.
is
listen,
that a takeoff on the
that's
Bo
the
Pelini cat
Bo
stuff?
Pelini is what it is. Yeah, it's the Bo Pelini
Okay.
one.
That's great.
Yeah. So.
Oh my gosh, we're just
So-
getting gifted. We got just gifted
See-
10 more memberships.
By the way, here's the thing, guys. So and just so everyone knows, like the people who are gifting memberships, they can't choose who gets the membership, which I think is just kind of strange, but YouTube just makes it a completely random thing. So, and even we are not able to like actually gift out memberships to certain people. Like, wouldn't that be such an easy thing if we're like, hey, thank you for contributing to the channel. Thank you for being a long time. But we can't even do that. So, sorry, it's a very random kind of deal. So, just letting you guys know, it's very random. So, all right, we'll see.
But
We'll
some
see who else
deserving
pops in.
folks got them tonight.
Sure, they did. All right, so to get back quickly to some of these things here, I was just going to run through this, and then we're going to hop off. Getting the short stream tonight, but you guys have heard us a lot here recently.
Thank you. Goodness.
All right. Real quickly, Cassie asked, what's wrong with Chaz Lanier for the Vols? Being compared to Dalton Connect for a while, now he seems to be struggling shooting. We did talk about that a little bit earlier. You guys can tell me if you have a different opinion, but I just think it's – I mean, I think part of it is just the fact that teams are game planning. They're just – it's the SEC, right? It's a different night-to-night game plan than it is where, yes, you can still play in Illinois, you can play a Baylor, Louisville, those kind of games, but then you're going to come back and play the teams that just aren't going to be able to game plan to stop someone like him and for him to put up those numbers. Now it's like every night, that Florida, Texas, Georgia, whoever, they're doing nothing but watching tape on how do we slow this guy down because he could single-handedly beat us just like Dalton Connect could. And I think that's the difference, just because it's the SEC. It's more physical, too. Like, you're going to have more bumps, and you're not going to get the easy looks, maybe, that you got in some of those games. I think he's going to be fine, but I just think it's a game planning thing to me. So,
I
We're
also
all
think
guilt-
it's a step up in competition. Chris, you go
Yeah.
ahead, though, first, because
Well,
I'll get to
sorry,
mine. I'll get to mine.
And I'm on a little bit of a delay here, which is why I keep inadvertently cutting people off. But how much differently do we look at Chaz Lanier if he if this is, say, 2028 or something like that. But my point is, look at the timing when he came in, look at the comp and the question. Like, everybody's looking at him to be Dalton Connect because he was that mid-major guy who scored a lot of points, and wow, look what they did with Connect last year. That's not a great lens to view a guy from. I mean, that sort of sets everybody up for, and look, I've been guilty of doing it too. We all have. It wasn't intentional, but it's just, my point is, if he comes in a few years later, I'm not going to say everybody's forgotten about Dalton Connect, but they're not dropping that is a backdrop of expectations every day.
Yeah, when you look at Tennessee's opponent defenses, okay, in the non-conference, they only played 4 defenses that rank in the top 100 right now, and one of them's Virginia, which ranks 98th. So if you want to take that one out, the 3 best defenses they faced before SEC play started was Baylor's, which is 45th, Louisville's, which is 38th, and Illinois, which is 8th. Okay, the past 4 teams they've played, 28th, 16th, 54th, 17th. So when you look at the level of defenses Lanier faced the entire non-conference, it's already been tougher just in 4 games than what he saw the entire non-conference. So that definitely plays a piece also.
Yep. All right. Let's see. Let me continue on here. I know we had some more. I think we had more gifts being. I mean, we've had a lot of gifts being given out here. So shout out to Nicholas, Devin again. Lots of them.
Danny was in there.
Got one more thing for you. And this is earlier in the season. But guess who had a stretch last year of 7 points in 28 minutes, followed by 2 points in 19 minutes, 6 points in 23 minutes, 15 points in 8 minutes, 8 minutes in 19 minutes. Name that player.
I'm going to assume it's Chaz Lanier if you're bringing it up now.
No, Dalton Connect.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense there. There you go.
No, it was non-conference, but still. Point is, just about anybody can be subject to one of those.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Oh my
Josh
gosh.
got $1.99 super chat earlier. He was telling you, Chris, it's all well and good, but there's a certain someone Josh thinks needs some TV time. More memberships being gifted. So again, like everybody's getting in on the live stream on Saturday, the way it's going right now, or the watch along on Saturday. So look at Ernest. He's grabbing a membership. Awesome stuff. By the way, I know everyone's like, we're trying to get Skylar the membership here. So here's the thing. I think there's actually a setting on YouTube that like you have to turn on to allow gifts, because my guess is you would have already gotten one. And I don't know how that works. But I know it's there. It should just be in the chat, but you might want to check on that just to make sure. So I thought I would throw that your direction for anyone who's trying to get one of these gifted memberships tonight. So Blake's just going to keep going. All right, go for it. All right. So here we're going to wrap up with this. Again, Saturday's games. I think a lot of people certainly are going to keep their eye on this Kentucky-Alabama game, but let's do our game rankings real quick, okay? Give me your top 3 in order, most intriguing games on Saturday. And then we're out of here. We're not going to turn this into a 10-minute thing, but we're just going to do this quickly, okay?
Eli, who's in the chat right now, one of our biggest Hail State fans up there with Carlos, he's texted me about, had to be a half hour after Mississippi State dropped their ticket drop. And he goes, Max, the student tickets just sold out in 20 minutes for the Ole Miss game on Saturday. You click on the post in the comments are students going, I couldn't get a ticket. Where are they? They're sold out. This place is going to be a madhouse. I cannot wait for Mississippi State Ole Miss.
You ranking that too?
Oh, we're doing rankings? I just thought
we're just having fun with it. Like
that game is besides Alabama, Kentucky, that one is right next to them on my list. I can't wait for that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd go Kentucky, Alabama, just because you guys know I'm the offensive guy, right? I want to see the points. Um, and then I think it's probably Ole Miss, Mississippi State, because I think it's such an intriguing game for both teams. Ole Miss coming off of that win, Mississippi State coming off back-to-back losses. How do they respond against their rival? But then I think it's, Auburn, Georgia is very interesting because if Georgia had played a little better tonight, we may have ranked that a little higher, but I think but they're back at home, right? And that's an early start. You just kind of don't know. So I think, that's probably it. I think Tennessee's and Vanderbilt's interesting for some different reasons, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder. I think Tennessee's front court might be the difference in that one.
I think the first two are easy. I think it's got to be Alabama, Kentucky, and then the Ole Miss, Mississippi State game. I could argue Tennessee, Vandy. That feels like the right answer, but try this one. I think Texas going to Florida, especially if Texas continues to play as well as it is tonight. I think we've all thought Texas is really talented, and has not beaten the good teams on the schedule, but the potential's there. You're still seeing Texas in bracket predictions. You're still seeing them top 40 in computer rankings. Facing a Florida team that hasn't been pushed around like that all year on its home floor. I think that one could be your third.
Yeah, look at what Eli says here. Student ticket group chat. This is Mississippi State, folks. Mississippi State. Student ticket group chat selling tickets for $150 right now for general admission.
That's fantastic.
They're not messing around.
I hate that it costs that much to get in the building, but that's an indicator of how people are excited about this one, which is great.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep. All right. I think that's it for tonight. As we said, we're not going to hang around to the end of this Texas-Oklahoma game to talk about me picking Texas to win this one.
Josh with the super chat.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see that one. There you go.
Mississippi State beats Ole Miss. Georgia's beating Auburn. 6-way tie at one. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, man.
Chaos bracket.
Yeah. Bring it on. We're all for the chaos. So, Texas up 16 on Oklahoma.
Wow.
The picks contest, we're officially going to be tied, I think, tomorrow. So,
my goodness.
There you go. So, yep. All right.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Virginia double triple. Thanks. He's throwing shade at Oklahoma here. 199 Brett, Big Baller Brett, Andrew Card. Throwing down the gauntlet. Here we go. We better get out, Big Baller Brett, on that one. So, all right, guys, listen. Back tomorrow morning. Probably some bracketology. Yep. Our predictions coming up tomorrow, as you know. And, watch along coming on Saturday. Reaction as usual. And may have some fun interviews coming for you guys too, coming soon here. So appreciate you as always.
Yeah. Hey, we put a lot of time in this. It's easier to put time into it when we jump on. I think I speak for all of us. We can't wait to hit the go button and do this. It's not a chore. It's fun. It takes time away from family and stuff. And that's important too. But we have a wonderful group of people. We have been so blessed. Last night was amazing. Tonight was too. And it's just having fun getting to, we don't know a lot of you personally, but just you kind of get a feel for the personalities. The chat is, it's good for a half dozen laughs every night. It's just been so much fun. People have said a lot of nice stuff about our content tonight and saying, I was here from you in the beginning. Look, you don't have a show without an audience. And it's a lot easier to show up and interact with your audience when you guys make it so much fun. The world has been this has not been the finest of human decades in terms of just online meanness and whatever you want to throw out there. It's really cool to come on and just see how nice people can be. We have our fun. We do whatever. We have our jokes, but Really do appreciate you. We're very blessed to have you guys and do what we do. Max couldn't stand it anymore, I guess.
Max said, I'm out of
He's like,
here.
just
He's
shut up and
moving
get
with
us outta
Sanders
here.
Logistics. He's out of here. Sanders Logistics is at the door. They're looking
Max
for
is
Max
like, too
Barr.
much nice talk. I'm out of here.
Max said, I'm gone. I'm hopping on the train at Sanders Logistics. I'm out of here. I'm heading to Lexington, Kentucky. Max is going to be there live. We're sending him with Sanders Logistics. How about that?
I was trying to switch my tab and I X'd out.
There you go. Max said, you know what? I just the tears were flowing. He had to get out. So.
Gotta be kidding me.
All right.
We do love you guys. Thank you for the support, the super chats, the memberships, the nice comments. Can't wait to hit the go button when tomorrow morning, I guess.
Yeah,
and have at it again. So we'll see all you guys then. Everybody be safe. Have a wonderful night. God bless you all. For Max Barr, Blake Lovell, I'm Chris Lee. You've been watching SEC basketball content at Southeastern 16.